Well, yet to hear from the National Association of Resident Doctors in terms of explaining whether or not that meeting they had was in vain. But all the same, we're going over to Abuja and focusing on this same matter. Mark.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. I have with me in the studio Mrs. Clara Dike. She's the Special Advisor Technical to the Minister of Labour and Employment. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
Well, you have been here before, just about 2 weeks ago, yes. When you were talking about ASU strikes. It's been a very busy time at the Ministry of Labour, you know, with all the strike actions going on. But then, looking at the action taken by the National Association of Resident Doctors yesterday, did it come to you as a surprise?
I would say so, because they wrote us on the 27th, in notifying us that they were about to embark on strike, and the Honourable Minister of Labour and Employment held a meeting with them on Thursday, that is 31st of August. And the Ministry of Health was there, represented by the Honourable Minister of Health. The Chairman, National Salaries, Incomes and Wages was there. The Accountant General of the Federation representative was there. And Budget Office was represented. And we had a very long meeting way into the night. I think the meeting ended around 11 p.m. And at the end of it all, we signed a memorandum of terms of settlement. And practically, the Honourable Minister of Labour and Employment, as the arbiter and conciliator, we encourage the other party also there, agreed on almost everything the doctors brought on board. And they had 6-point demand. And they got everything. And with timeline, we gave them timeline. For instance, their demand for to be put on
integrated platform.
Yeah, on IPs, that was admitted. Actually, we had agreed on that a long time ago, and they were asked, the CMDs of the medical centers were asked to send in their nominal roll, and only 18 did. So during the meeting of 31st, we agreed and signed off that the Ministry of Health should write to all the MDs to send in their nominal rolls, because the APIS platform cannot happen without the nominal rolls from these hospitals. And then the one of they want us to actually that was the 4th item on the agenda. They cached it in some other way, but when the meeting commenced, we found out that they were actually talking of skipping a grade level. It's a long history. Maybe sometime you'll call in the chairman of the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages to talk more on that.
The CONHES and
the CONHES, there was a court judgment. You know, there's those health set non-doctors and doctors. And the non-doctors had issues. They came to the ministry, we conciliated, they opted out. They opted for NICN judgment, and NICN founded for them. And based on that, they were allowed to skip a grade level. But it happened that in the hospitals, it was chaotic. They were all skipping everything, all the grade level, except the people on the last grade level. So when we found out that was that, we said, okay. Then we admitted a conclusion we reached some time ago and asked the Federal Ministry of Health to work on that, because you don't just do these things without considering the scheme of service and its effects, and the effects of the actions will have, the spiritual effects it will have in other sectors of the economy, because it's not just health sector. We have other sectors, education, we have oil and gas, we have them all around. So it's something they have, the Office of the Head of Service will need to work on. Maybe amend the scheme of service, and even if you amend the scheme of service, it will go to the Council of Establishment for approval.
The reason I asked you that initial question about whether or not you were surprised is because the doctors will normally tell you, or any, the officials who represent the unions at the meeting will tell you, we will go back to our unions and present what you have offered. And if they agree, then, we might suspend the action or call off the ultimatum, as the case might be. But it looks like they are not very satisfied with the promissory note, because that's what they call it, the promissory note that government is giving them.
Okay, that's a surprise there, because we've done this for a while with doctors. I'm surprised in this instance because we agreed on almost virtually everything they brought on board. And there was no, we were all on the same page. So that's the surprise, that they had to do a U-turn.
Yes,
we agree that at that point,